Hello, my dear listener. The story today is very instructive. I'm sure everyone will draw the right conclusions. I will read it in the first person. Hello, I want to tell you my story that happened to me. It all changed my life so drastically, but that's not the point now. Let's start at the beginning. When you live in a small town, in a small country, you know everyone and everything. You have a very handsome guy living next door to you, an athlete, a creative person. Every girl's dream, and it happens that he becomes yours, and you live dreaming about him, and finally realize that you have fallen in love. Finally and irrevocably, the first acquaintance somewhere in the social networking site, exchanging photos, talking on Skype until morning, then walks, and then comes the time of first sex. In fact, he was my first man, and I was so looking forward to that night, and when I waited, I was disappointed. It all happened so fast, and I set out to remember the event. Bad idea, but that's not the point. As time passes, a normal sex life begins, every time you try something new to surprise the person you love. We had candlelight dinners, everything was great. I don't know what happened to me. Maybe the amount of wine I drank affected my head, but I realized that my feelings were just off the charts. I put my glass on the table and sat down with him. And yes, we were sitting on the floor, on the carpet, with lots of pillows, can you imagine? He sat with his legs stretched forward, and I pulled my skirt up a little and sat on top of him, looked him in the eye, touched my fingertips to his lips, and then kissed him passionately. Yes, that night was unforgettable for me. But something changed. We spent less and less time together. He was always irritated and very angry. I didn't know what to do with him and I was totally desperate. He wouldn't share anything with me, he just withdrew into himself. One day he said he just wanted to fool around with some naive girl. I didn't say anything back. I didn't even cry. I turned around and left. I was hysterical at home. I was wrecking everything around me and didn't want to live. In the end, I had a nervous breakdown. Then I lost my appetite and began to faint. I began to have health problems. Anyway, the few weeks I spent in the hospital had a positive effect on me. I left the hospital with only one thing in mind: to get back at him and to prove to myself that I could do everything without him. The first thing I did was to start losing weight, to change my appearance, and within a month I was a darling. Although I was not ugly before, but I could not emphasize my beauty like that. Although rather, I was not able to do it. I changed from jeans to a skirt, from sneakers and ballet shoes to high-heeled shoes. I also remembered that my boyfriend used to have a friend. They had a big fight over something and became bitter enemies. When Honey saw me for the first time 4 months later, he was stunned, to say the least. He didn't know what to say for about 5 minutes, the first night we slept together. I was doing these things in bed, he was stunned. I was like a wildcat. I ripped all over his back, bit his shoulders, even left hickeys in some places. I was surprised at myself. That morning I woke up before him and, in order not to lose time, I washed and dressed and left. I don't know why I didn't wait for him to wake up. I guess I wanted to prove that I had grown out of my naive stupidity and would now be in charge of the parade. That same day I found my lover's former friend on the internet, evaluated his photos on social networks. He, of course, wrote thank you, and then it began. How are you? What do you do? Who do you know? What are your hobbies? ... We could chat from morning till night. In the end, after 2 weeks of communication we met. I was just thrilled with this guy. So cute and funny. One night we went for a swim out of town, at the lake. I took off my dress and immediately ran into the water. After a hot day, the cool water was the nicest finish. I swam up to a small island. As soon as I sat on it, I saw that it had floated up as well. I put my feet in the water and lay on my back, closing my eyes and not thinking about anything. But then I felt him on top of me and I opened my eyes and saw his face in front of me. He immediately dug his lips into mine, and I wrapped my arms around his neck. My nails dug into his back, and he tried to muffle my moans with kisses. "You're driving me crazy." He whispered the words softly in my ear and kissed me again. Please write if you liked the story. Your comments are very important to me. I will enjoy your stories very often. See you soon. Take care.